Coming to you live from the Now Media Newsroom.
I'm Jim Check. You're watching Now Media. With me, Trina Speiser.
Hello.
How are you doing? Central Okanagan Food Bank, and we got some stats to go over. And the big headline, though, is 204% increase since 2019. That's a big jump, right, in food bank usage.
That's a big jump. I mean, I'm not surprised by the increase. We've expected increases. We've seen increases. I guess the 204% is a little bit alarming for sure. So Food Banks Canada comes out with an annual report. It's called the Hunger Count.
Yeah, and we got a graphic here just to show you the Canadian kind of numbers there, and there's monthly visits, 2.1 million there for that's monthly. That's not an annual total there.
No,
right?
that is monthly. And 2725 food banks reporting. There's about 4,600 food banks across Canada. So just probably a little over 50% there. So. But the numbers are probably quite congruent across Canada. So yeah, it's not a margin story anymore. This is our neighbors. This is people in our community that are affected.
We do so many economy stories right now. And then, I just did insolvency trustee, and I think it was 67% of Canadians are $200 away from, monthly obligations. They're right on the wire, right? And then a lot of these mortgages are renewing right now too, and they're renewing at a much higher rate. So there isn't $200 worth of, you know what I mean? Some of those mortgages are $1,500 to $2,000 more.
And they probably stretched themselves in the first place. I mean, I remember talking to somebody about 4 years ago that moved from Alberta, and with a family of four, they moved during the pandemic for a lifestyle. And he said that they had to overpay for the house. They had to, pay more than asking. Plus they had to it was $125,000 more than they wanted to spend. That's very hard.
Yeah, anybody that made purchases during COVID, automobiles were higher because you couldn't get them. So you're paying, they were doing dealer markups on vehicles and stuff like that. And then, houses were being bid up like crazy. Like you couldn't even do inspections and all that stuff. Yeah. And now, obviously, the vehicles now, there's more inventory. Yeah. So that markup is just gone right off the top, right? Because now when they go to look at a new one, they're already starting 20% sometimes in the hole.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And 3% more interest on $100,000.
It's huge.
It's huge, right? Yeah, especially when you have
0.25 is I think it's like $15 per 100,000 or something like that, right? So it works out. Like, a lot of people have $1 million mortgage here in the Okanagan, so a 0.25 is about $200, right? So.
Yeah, so I'm not surprised by those numbers. As a food bank, you can come once every 28 days. You get about a week's worth of provisions. Yeah. So we are also...
So it's not like you can get all your groceries there. It's more of a supplement, right?
We are an emergency stopgap measure, and I think that there's a dependency myth on the food bank for sure, which is just not a reality. And a part of the reason it's like that is because of the numbers. Right, we just simply
couldn't service that many.
We just simply couldn't service that many. And I'm sure you've heard the stats. It's probably not a food problem. It's an equitable distribution problem. 60%.
I think it might be an economy problem right now.
Yeah, too, right? for sure. But I think what the food bank does is it does provide that emergency stopgap measure for those families. We see them come through medical emergencies, through transition for employment, whether or not they've lost their job or job transition, or unexpected expense like a car repair bill. So they come to us in really vulnerable times. We show about 46% of our clients come episodically. They come like once or 3 or 4 months over the year and then not again. And the rest, we have 44% of our clients are children under the age of 15. Wow. So it's very hard for you to...
That's the tough one, right?
That's the tough one. And honestly, I actually just went to on a family holiday through Africa for 4 weeks, right? And I was telling somebody there that I work at a food bank, and the lady was like, what do you mean, in Canada? And I was like, yes, in Canada, I work at a food bank, right? Because we just have like 1 in 5 Canadians struggle with food insecurity. So that's why we're here.
We have the BC numbers here too. Like we had that was the Canadian data. We didn't put up the BC data there. So there's the BC data.
Yeah, I was a little surprised to see that 1%, like -1 for total visits. I mean, because last year there was 129 food banks reported, and this year there's 131. So it just really all depends which food banks reported And it's only for the month of March that we report. So it's just a snapshot of measurements. So who knows what was going on in that particular
And then we
month,
got one
but-
more graphic here from the hunger report here. Just in this, if you want to talk us through this here.
Yeah, so 33% are children. That's nationally. It's 44% here in Kelowna.
Why do you think it's higher here? Because that's a dramatic.
That is a dramatic. I don't know. I wish I knew the answer to that a little bit, but we also have, we're higher. There isn't the oh yeah, 8.3% seniors. We're at 22%.
Holy cow.
I know, for seniors. And I feel like that is probably a little bit more explainable with, lots of retirees come out here, stuff like that. But the children don't know. I don't know why that would be.
But you would think a lot of the retirees come here, they buy a property to retire, and you wouldn't think they'd be accessing the food bank as much, right? So.
No, that's true. But I mean, everyone's path is to the food bank is really unique. We just had an 82-year-old that was victim to a financial scam. He lost all of his money by giving it away. He thought he was paying for this estate to be processed, and I don't even know where it was. And it's those stories that come to you, and it wiped out his savings. And
I think the last time I interviewed Trevor, who's the CEO still,
he is, yeah.
We talked about, like some people getting angry because there'll be like BMWs in the parking lot and that. And I think we talked about it, and that is like a lot of these people have payments they can't get out of either. They can't get out of the vehicle, and they're kind of stuck with it. And this is why they're probably at the food bank too, because that, that $1,000 car payment, they're underwater on the car. They still need a car, do you know what I mean, to get around to get the kids to wherever.
Right, yes.
And then so they have no choice, because if they take the car back to the dealership, the whole loan is now due. Do you know what I mean? Because then now that they said, well, you're 20 grand underwater, we'll take the 20 grand and no car, right? So they just basically have to continue to pay for this thing.
We've had all sorts of circumstances. We've had domestic violence where people come and their car is their only asset. They literally left everything else behind. But we also, transportation is a huge barrier for our clients. So
you have to get around here too, right?
Yeah, for sure. So we have people volunteering, whether it's through service-based organizations or faith-based groups, where they will come and pick up hampers for people that maybe have that transportation barrier. So not everything you see in the parking lot represents our clients. Sometimes it's people helping out.
So obviously demand is up huge, and then how are you managing to keep up with that demand? Like how are the donations? Are you still getting that outpouring, or are you now having trouble meeting the needs?
It's changing a little bit. Of course, our giving went up during the pandemic for sure, because I think their giving habits changed. They asked, am I okay? Is my family okay? Is my community okay? So we had this inpouring of generosity. It's normalized a little bit. We're still very grateful for every donation that we get. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to capture the pre-consumer goods. We've been focusing on the post-consumer food for a long time, which is food rescue. So every day,
if something's unspoiled, then they'll just call and say, come get this.
Every day we stop at 24 food retailers in town and pick up food that's fit for consumption and not fit for sale. So our hamper is around 63% of food through the food rescue program. I think because of the increased need that doesn't look like it's going to go away, our new goal and our new focus for the food bank is to focus on agriculture partnerships and farming partnerships.
Maybe some of that.
Yeah. I mean, we're really lucky to be in the area that we're in, the Okanagan, with all of the orchards that we have.
Bounty out there.
Yeah. And so we've met with some agriculture partners recently, and they're like, oh, we can grow those like potatoes for you so that we can have them every October, because we commit to a base nutritional value in our hamper, and it's potatoes, onions, carrots, milk, and eggs. That's our base that we always commit to. So if we can cover the carrots, onions, and potatoes through agriculture partnerships, and so it's innovation. It's changing the way that we procure and buy, and even look to the future to grow our own goods to be able to help with that increased need.
Have you guys met and talked about like what what these tariffs are doing as far as the economy goes, and like the layoffs that might be coming? And
Yeah, we have our pulse on it a little bit. I'll be perfectly honest with you. We have governing bodies like Food Banks Canada and Food Banks
that are
BC.
kind of watching that.
Well, we rely on them for the advocacy and the conversations to change policies and stuff like that, because we just don't have the capacity here. I wish I did, but as you see with the visitations at the door, we have to focus on our purpose, and we let the advocacy happen more at a little national level. But sure, I mean, I notice the food when I go to the grocery store. I'm sure you do too.
Expensive, yeah. I mean, it's super expensive. I mean, that's the, like some people I talk to a lot of people, and they say, meat is a luxury item.
Yeah.
In Canada right now, meat's a luxury. I mean, that there just blows me away that we're at a point in Canada, which should be one of the richest nations in the world, where meat is a luxury item, not just for people these are for people that earn decent livings, right? Professionals, nurses, and do you know what I mean? That think that meat is now a luxury, right?
Yeah.
So because rent takes so much, or the mortgage takes so much, and their car takes so much of their disposable income, or their income for the month or obligations, that there's not a lot left for.
There's not
food, right? So,
and we're all having to make choices, I think, on different levels, and prioritize what we want and what we don't want. And like coffee the other day too. I went to buy coffee, and I was like, wow, like, okay, do I really need that coffee every day? Like, you just
It's pretty bad when you're starting to say, I could do without. I mean, but it's even more troubling is when you have kids at the table that you have to feed, right?
Yeah, the statistics are that 44% of parents are skipping meals. I think 88% of households are having to, like, the whole entire family skips a meal every once in a while just to save on costs. And that really should not be the case here.
You wouldn't think so.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think so. I mean, we do stories after story after story. And it's troubling. It's very troubling. And David Eby raised some concerns, and you can answer this if you want, but David Eby raised concerns too on the immigration policies of Canada, and said that they were daft because he said that it was overloading shelters and food banks, and that you're bringing people in that we can't service, and then they're going to the food banks and they're going to the shelters. Do you see much of that here in the Okanagan? Or?
No, they're a sector of our demographic. They are not overtaking it. I think our last was 16% of our clients are probably, but again, because of the service that we offer, it's an emergency. It's a stopgap measure.
So just so people understand, because that is it's something to understand. People, they register, I imagine they go through some kind of screening process of some type.
They do, yeah. So it changed a little bit over COVID. We did have a full intake process for the first time ever. I mean, outside of grants, because we do apply for grants that we receive. We do not receive any government funding. And so every food bank does work a little bit differently in terms of their intake program. So we changed during the pandemic where we removed the income qualifier. And so your only barrier to access is a physical address in Kelowna or West Kelowna.
Oh, okay, so you just have to prove residency.
You just have to prove, and you need, and one of the reasons for that is you need utility. Like, you need the ability to keep food shelf stable. Right. You need to be able to cook it, because I mean, we give pasta and pasta sauces, so we don't give pre-made meals. We serve a little sector of the unsheltered population, and that's just on an emergency day bag situation, but we're really, I mean, we deal with people that are at risk of homelessness and not.
So they register, and they register a family or
whatever their family composition is.
And then is that how their allotment is then? Or
that is, yeah. So we have different amounts that goes to singles or multis or doubles, or even seniors get a little bit different. And then we have a tiny bundles program. So that's for mothers that are expecting or children under the age of 1, because they just need different nutritional things. So actually, our tiny bundles program, so the mothers or single parents in that program, they can come weekly, and they can come weekly to pick up like fresh provisions, like fruits and vegetables, and baby need stuff like diapers and baby food and stuff like that. So yeah.
And did you find that a lot of people I guess what's the percentage of people that are kind of consistently on this monthly program, or I think you said there was quite a few people that just kind of use it for a bit and then they kind of like.
Yeah, so it's about 46% that come 3 to 4 months a year to reorganize their finances. And I would have to say that the other demographics are probably the seniors on fixed income that have a very hard time changing their economic circumstances, and our children. So, and those numbers don't include, so we started a food for thought program. So we deliver breakfast and lunches to 1,500 children weekly in school district 23. So it's about 5,000 meals a month.
Is that government funded at all, or is that?
It is not.
The government I mean, they've been talking about how they have a school program, and I'm just like, and then you're saying you're doing the program.
We don't. No, it's partially funded by the school district, so there would be a small allotment in there, but the rest is donor funded. So the program itself costs just a little over $1 million for us after some of the funding in place, but we're kind of eagerly anticipating.
Logistics alone must be tough, right?
Oh,
do you know what I mean? Getting out those every day, right?
Well, yeah. So we pack on Mondays. We have a dedicated group of about 45 volunteers that show up every Monday, and they pack the meals for the week. And that's why it's about 5,000 meals a week, and so it's about 23,000
kind of thing.
Yeah, well, just breakfast or lunches, and it really depends on what utility the school has. Some have kitchens, and so Rotary groups will come in and maybe make hot pancakes, and then some is just grab and go. It's cheese sticks or yogurts or bagels and stuff like that. So also within that school program, we the school administrators identify food insecure households. So we send about 500 backpacks home every week to these food insecure households, so they have food on the weekend when school's not in session. So huge undertaking. It keeps me up at night as director of development, and especially the funding that we have to get to keep that program running. But if anyone has the opportunity and wants to stop by, we do it every Monday morning, and it's really inspiring.
There you go. For anybody that's listening, you can go out there and help too, right? You can actually roll up your sleeves and do something good for the community, and obviously making sure children eat is, priority job.
It's priority, yeah. So we have about 450 volunteers. We have that's on our entire roster. We have about 150 that are dedicated, show up weekly, sometimes every day to help us, and we couldn't do it without them.
Yeah, I mean, Tiff Macklin came out yesterday and said that Canadians have to learn to do with less, and not good news for Canada, right? You wouldn't think that would be going on in Canada. You would not think that this is. This is like, because 10 years ago, if you had asked me, I would say Canada's like one of the best places in the world. Yeah.
There's pockets for sure, and I think government policy can change, and we all want it to change, but they can only change as much as the population has appetite for it. And when you're talking about some of these systemic barriers for people, it's hard. I mean, they represent 23% of our population. Sometimes they don't have the voice that they need in order for these big policy changes to be made. So, but we're hoping that November,
I think we're talking 20, like in some pockets of Canada, 20+% for youth unemployment. That's a scary number too.
That is a scary number.
Youth unemployment 20% and higher and youth. I'm talking 15 to 24.
Right.
I'm not talking like 16-year-olds.
Right.
I'm 15 to 24.
Right.
That's StatsCan.
Yeah,
right?
That's
so,
high.
I mean, that's where a lot of people, lost hope for homes. I mean, you grew up, you said, in Saskatchewan.
Mm-hmm.
You knew you were going to get a home at some point, right? Even if it was just down the road, right?
I didn't doubt it. And Calgary Foundation just released their annual report, and it said that 43% of people don't think that a home is accessible anymore, and that's crazy to me. But we're kind of hoping it surprised us just a little bit that there wasn't a lot of talk about school programming and food during the election, but hopefully maybe when the budget comes out on November 4th.
I mean, we would hope that our economy gets so much better that we don't have to do so much in the schools. You know what I mean? I think that's, where people can provide on their own, like good jobs. Good jobs do that, right? So.
But at a such basic level, we have to make sure these kids are nourished, because
there has to be a social safety net, right?
There has to be, absolutely. And food should really not be taken out of the equation, and especially
here. Well, that's the biggest part of it, right? Food and shelter. Right?
Yeah.
Food and shelter.
Yeah.
I can't resist the Saskatchewan joke since you're from Saskatchewan.
Oh, I've heard
I'm
them
from
all.
northern Alberta too,
Yeah,
so just like
yeah.
in Saskatchewan, the old joke was like, I broke up with my wife 7 days ago. I can still see her walking down the road.
I love Saskatchewan. I love going home. I said there's a simpleness and a peacefulness. We just went home recently for my niece's wedding, and
Whereabouts in Saskatchewan?
Watrous. It's a really small
that
town. It's
north,
about an
or?
hour southeast of Saskatoon.
Oh, yeah.
Really, really close to Humboldt, which was put on the map.
Right.
But
Terrible.
yeah. So I don't know. Like when I go home, I feel a peacefulness there.
Yeah, we billeted some rockets from Saskatoon, and my daughter also went to what's that little town? Wilcox, Saskatchewan, for 3 years in school there, right? That little farm town there.
Yeah. We actually billeted some rockets from Saskatchewan as well, and it was really neat to have.
They make the best hockey players.
They do, yes.
Saskatoon contacts.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I need a coach for that. Yeah, awesome. Well, anything else you want to add today?
No, I don't think so. I do, we touched on it really briefly, but yeah, volunteers, huge backbone to our organization. Couldn't do it without them. So, and there's something there to inspire everyone. So, whether it's the Food for Thought program, whether it's once a week, whether it's just special events on the weekends, we have something for everyone. So,
and donations, obviously on the website. And places,
donations on the website, and of course, like cash is king. Of course, now that we're dealing, like I said, with that pre-consumer goods, and we're focusing on agriculture partnerships and stuff like that, it's donations are obviously what keeps us going.
You deal with some of the restaurants too when they have stuff, or is that too expired?
No, it's a different level of service. A little bit more goes probably to the gospel mission, but it's very hard for us to get like a 5-pound bag of mashed potatoes because what do you do with it? Yeah, what are we going to do with that? But
you need more volume stuff, right?
Yeah, and we need to be able to it has to be individually portioned so that it can go in a single hamper, or we can put 2 in a multi-hamper. So we look for the kind of the prepared stuff.
You guys do some big events during the year though too, big fundraisers?
We do, yeah. We have a big Bollywood event coming up. It's going to be March 7th this year, and that goes specifically to support
Talking about the baseball, volleyball?
Yeah. Geez, if I could figure out something to do with the Blue Jays, that'd be pretty crazy.
You get one of them come out here, right?
Yeah. So during the holidays, we have a matching campaign, and every year our donor changes. But so we really encourage people because they get that lift on their donation, which is really important to us at a very, very special time of the year. So yeah, you'll always see us in front of the grocery stores from time to time, hosting food drives.
Yeah, and you're located just there on Enterprise, right?
We're on Enterprise. Then we have a temporary location that we're in West Kelowna right now.
Oh, okay.
That we just moved into and looking to secure a more final premise so that we can build there. That's probably a 2 to 3 year vision out because the need even in West Kelowna has changed tremendously over the last couple of years. So.
Yeah, so you're on Enterprise, just really across from the fire station there. That's not Fire Station 1, though. Is that Fire Station 2?
I don't know the number of that.
It might be 2.
Yeah, it could be.
Because I think number 1's downtown.
Yeah.
But, the big fire station, though, it is one of the bigger ones.
Yeah, and we encourage, during the growing season, we encourage, backyard growers to drop off their produce if they have. We have 2 partner farms that we get about 143 pounds of produce through the year. So, and we're focusing on finalizing our commercial kitchen. Our commercial kitchen is going to help us augment. We get all this fresh seasonal produce in the harvest months. We're going to make that into meals, pre-prepared meals that we can put in the hampers in the winter months. So,
well, there you go. If you need to access the food bank, you can. I guess you can go on the website. That's
you can go on the website. Yeah, you can register that way, or you can come in.
And then, we'll bring up the website here.
Yeah,
as well.
But you do have to make an appointment. So it's best to register online if you're a new client, and then
just walk in.
Yeah, you can walk in. You need identification tying you to a physical address in Kelowna and West Kelowna. But yeah, you can do it online, or you can come in.
Do you want to pull that website up? I think he's trying to chase it down there.
Yeah, there you go. That's us.
There you go. What's the website address?
cofoodbank.com.
CO.
Yeah.
There you go. cofoodbank.com.
Yeah.
Nice and easy.
Yeah, and there's all the ways to give there, ways to help, and we're really grateful to our community because we are donation led and volunteer led. We just really couldn't survive without everyone's generosity.
Well, thank you for coming in.
Yeah, thank
It's
you.
always good to put the information out there for the community, especially
Yeah.
on how to use it and how to help.
Yeah,
if you're
we appreciate the
have the
exposure.
ability to help.
Yeah,
And if you have the need, then you know where to go.
yeah, exactly.
And thank you for coming in, and thank you for watching Now Media.